You are now listening to the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello there, and welcome back.
What is this place?
Disconnected.
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 I've reached a number that has been disconnected.
Hello there, and welcome back to the Disc Connected. Here with an individual that you may not have seen yet unless you are browsing TikTok. Here with Courtney Cannon. Courtney, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
We met through one of the just most random pieces of serendipitous behavior that I ever could have dreamed of. But literally, you posted a video promoting the Physical Media Advocate, and I think you are the first person that has ever done that without me knowing them. So first off, thank you.
No problem. I love it. I love the magazine.
I'm stoked to hear that. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But the big thing is you are starting to make a name as somebody that loves movies and physical media primarily on TikTok. And for a hobby that is primarily an older generation's game in a lot of people's eyes, I cannot wait to dive into this. So first, tell us just about yourself for those that don't have any knowledge of who you are.
Yeah, so my name is Courtney Cannon. I have been collecting physical media since I was about 10 years old. I'll be 30 next month, so we're going on about 20 years now. So growing up in the 90s, my family, we loved collecting VHSs. And then once DVDs got around, I started getting those and then just started falling in love with physical media. And from there, it's the rest is history. And then especially once Blockbuster closed down when I was in high school, I really started diving into getting physical copies. And then we upgraded to Blu-rays and now the 4Ks and the boutique labels. But I've loved movies my whole life. They've really saved my life in a lot of ways. As cheesy as that sounds, I've through all the dark times of my life, movies have always been there. So I've always just relied on them as a sort of medicine. And then the physical media aspect is just so fun for me and one I've always been an advocate for, which is why I was so drawn to the magazine. And so now I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I work for FedEx headquarters, and I'm also a tap dancer, just a little background lore there. And just, I love movies and I love talking about movies. So that's why I started posting on TikTok. I just wanted to find a movie community to discuss my love of films and have been able to find that on the platform.
Nice. Let's dive into the movie love then. What is like the first movie you ever remember seeing in a theater?
So this is always a fun question because my memory is terrible, but I do have some fun long-term memories. So I do have a very distinct memory of my dad taking me to see Lord of the Rings. And I cannot tell you which one. I do not remember which one it was when I was like maybe 4 or 5 years old. And I remember seeing it on the big screen and it was an experience. So seeing Lord of the Rings in the movie theater was just incredible, one I will never forget. So that's usually my answer, even if it may not be the right answer, just because, again, my memory of a young age is not the best.
I still think my first memory, I don't know if I actually remember it or if I just knew it, that was the answer 28 years ago, and now I just talk about it like a memory. So probably similar things.
Love that.
You are in Nashville. There are a couple pretty big theaters around there. What are some of your favorites in Nashville to go frequent?
Yeah, so you can usually catch me at the Bell Court, which is the local theater here and has been around for a long time. So I'm either there. I actually just saw a midnight showing of Revenge a couple weeks ago during their action series. They're doing like an action midnight series. Yeah. So that was super cool. I'm a Regal Unlimited member, so I'm always at the Regals. And then you have the Franklin Theater, which is actually one I've only been to once, so I have not been able to frequent that as much as I would like. And yeah, so usually the Bell Court or the Regals where you're gonna catch me here in Nashville.
The Bell Court is kind of one of the like main staple theaters that people know across this country that have never even been, and I'm insanely jealous to not be somewhere close to something like that. I mean, that we've got decent theaters here in Kansas City, but none that have like an esteemed name like the Bell Court. So that's great.
Yeah. One fun little story about that. So they did like a 100 years film in Nashville where they did like a little series with seminars and things, and they showed Ernest Scared Stupid as part of their Hick Flick series about like a month or two ago, and and that's actually the theater that the original cast and crew, when they premiered it, that's where they got to watch it. So it was so cool to get to see that like in the theater that they watched it,
Nice.
and they had the director's son there for like a Q&A and the guy that played Joey. So yeah, I love going there for fun events.
That's incredible. I love that. So you've been collecting for a long time, different formats, all kinds of stuff like that. What are some of your favorite labels at the moment?
So my favorite labels would have to be Arrow Video. I think their box sets are always top tier. And as far as box sets go, Second Sight Films is one of my also all time. I mean, they have put out, my bank account hates to see a new Second Sight release coming. So definitely Second Sight and Arrow. And obviously for horror, you have Scream Factory. And then I think as far as quality, Vinegar Syndrome, you really can't beat their quality. So whenever I actually their most recent sale, I got to pick up some good things. So those would be in my top. But there's so many. I mean, you have Criterion, which the Criterion sale just ended. I got a nice stack from there. But yeah, so I mean, there's just too many picks. So I can never say just my favorite, but you got all of them in there.
Yeah, somewhere, gosh, probably about a year and a half ago now, I was trying to just get a handle on like the industry itself behind the scenes, and I counted at that moment 150 plus active boutique labels, and I definitely got a little intimidated at that.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah,
Man,
I mean, there are many that don't have like a very frequent release schedule. They'll literally do maybe 1 or 2 a year, but they're still active. They're still working.
They still count. Wow. But how exciting is that so many places are putting so much effort into physical media. So I think it's a great time for physical media.
And we need more and more places like one that you just made me jealous with again. You just got to visit Orbit DVD. How was that?
Man, it was awesome. It's only my second time getting to go in person, and I could have been in there all day. I told them when I walked in, I was like, you guys don't know my face, but you probably know my name. You see my name all the time in my pre-orders. But yeah, I mean, it is a dream in there. Oh, I love it.
We on the show we've had Mark, the owner of Orbit, on a few times to talk about the store and stuff. And the very first time, just like you and I just did, behind the scenes, I went, "Mark, nice to virtually meet you." And he said, "Oh, I know your name very well." And I went, "Oh God."
Oh, don't you love that? Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
man. But yeah, they're my favorite place to order from. As far as especially pre-orders, they take such good care of their packaging, and they always have it to you on time. I will sing the praises of Orbit forever. So I'm so glad I got to
and they're the nicest people. I mean, genuinely, they look out for things. One of the stories that I like to tell people is Orbit will they'll hear that a disc is rattling in your package and email you and say, "Hey, would you like us to open this and reset the disc in there so that it doesn't come scratched?"
Yes, I've actually gotten that email before, and I was like, "Yes, please, thank you." Yeah, no, they are.
I plan on watching it. Thank you. Your TikTok. Let's get into this because it is starting to become a beacon of hope for me, at least in showing a younger generation some of these. Because your comment section, first of all, extremely kind. Love to see that. Yes. I don't know if you delete things before I get there, but for the most part, you get a lot of love.
Yeah. Thankfully, because it's scary when you start posting. I started posting back, I want to say around March-ish, and it was a little intimidating just because the internet can be a scary place. But so far, I've had so many kind people, thankfully, has found the right side of TikTok. And I think the movie community, I feel like movies just teach us empathy. And so I feel like as a community, we're just prone to being, empathetic and kind. And we all love the same thing. And I think because it's such a niche thing these days with physical media, like in my own personal life, I'm the only one that collects movies that I know. So I think we all see that it's a rare thing. So we all, get to group together, and it's like one little community, and it's been absolutely incredible. It's been better than I ever thought. And it's my page has grown more than I thought it would. So, which kind of can be scary too at the same time, but I'm just super grateful to have gotten to meet so many awesome people and talk about movies with people that love them as much as I do.
It has not, I've not seen your page for all that long because gosh, it's only been handful of weeks since somebody sent me that link, but the amount of just random ideas that you come up with to share as videos, I would love to hear what is the inspiration for these, because this is probably why I would be terrible at TikTok. I'm not going to think of the idea, here is a rainbow of my favorite movies. Like, that's such a unique way to share your favorite pickups and stuff.
Yeah, no. So it's funny because my brain is always moving. And so I have a notes app. So if I think of something during the day, I'll see something and it just sparks an idea. I'll throw it in my notes and that way I don't forget it. And then I'll go back and look. Or if I'm, on TikTok, I'll look and see, I'll get inspiration from other creators. My friend Raggle Fraggle, that's who, he posted a criterion of rainbow recommendations, just one movie for each color. And I messaged him, I said, that's a great idea. I'm going to use this and I'll give you credit. And so I kind of turned it into my own thing. So it's kind of like borrowing from, other creators, but also just my mind is constantly moving. And so whenever I think of something, I'll write it down. Because if I don't keep my notes app, I'll never remember what I want to make a video on.
Well, I think one of the main things too, and we'll get back to the physical media aspect of the TikTok side in just a minute, but you keep people interested because it's not just physical media. You're going to actual events. You're showing people like local museums and stuff. Are there any of those around there that have been maybe your favorite places to visit that you got to share a video from? So
my favorite place that I've been to it's in the Nashville area. It's up in the Hermitage area. It's called Full Moon Cineplex, and it is a movie theater. It's only open on Fridays, and they play old movies, and it's actually connected though to a tattoo shop. So you can go get a tattoo and then you can go see a movie on a Friday night. They always play older horror films typically, and they do dinner and a movie. So they make homemade dinner. So like last time I went, it was like a ganache, I always say it wrong, and like a salad and bread. I know I didn't say it right, probably.
Are we trying to say goulash?
Goulash. Oh my goodness. See, I knew it was wrong.
I think ganache is the top of a cake or something,
ganache,
right?
Yeah, no, it's definitely goulash. Yeah, you're correct. It is goulash. I knew I was wrong, but I was like, I gotta say it. So yeah, they did goulash and salad and bread, and then you get popcorn and a soda, and all that with the movie is $28. Which, if you think you go to like a restaurant and stuff, and they're so great. The owners are awesome people, and it's just such good vibes. Like my first time ever going, they had the Rue Morgue magazine. They had a whole table, out. So they did a whole Friday the 13th. They showed the 7th movie on Friday the 13th, so I got to go. And so they're actually doing a festival, a convention, horror type convention in the spring. They do like a whole thing, the tattoo parlor and the Cineplex. Wow. And it's a huge event. So they're definitely my new favorite place that I found around here. And I posted a couple things, and they've done really well, because I guess people are just aren't used to seeing those kinds of things anymore. So
I think that is sort of the power of TikTok. I mean, there are so many, I don't know, like niche communities within niche communities that people are just hungry for at the moment. And so like many people that follow me, they love movies, they love physical media, but they don't get to see, conversations with some of these filmmakers or conversations with some of the people behind these boutique labels. And so that is like that granular desire. And you get something like this where, somebody might be in, I don't know, New Mexico, where they don't have something like that in some random little town. And you get to bring that to the world. And just like you're talking about movies being empty machines, because I think that was a Ebert quote originally, movie. Anyways, you're essentially doing that now, is showing them a little like cross section of a community that they would probably never get a chance to see in real life.
Yeah, no, for sure. And something that's fascinating is I have a lot of international followers. I have a lot of followers from like Ireland, the UK, Australia, Canada. They're always will message or comment like, we don't have anything like this over here. I mean, I wish we had stuff that y'all have in the States over here. And so it's really fascinating that TikTok just kind of brings people together from all over, and you get to see things that you never would otherwise.
Well, with physical media being a big chunk of the show, we should probably spend some time on that. And with you having collected for 20 years, how are you feeling about physical media in 2025? Just general vibes.
Honestly, I think it's at a peak right now. I think the releases, there have been so many incredible releases and so many announcements, that I think it's exciting. And I think there's like kind of just, it seems to be growing a little more. I think maybe the popularity of of it on TikTok. I've seen, several people have messaged me personally saying that they've started their collections because they've seen, me posting about it, or they'll see the releases that I'm posting about, and that they're they started their collection. And I think with the things that are coming out, the quality is really good. And I think, like we were saying, how there's 150 boutique labels, that there's so many companies that are investing in physical media that it makes me really excited that it's not going anywhere, because some people will tell you it's dead and stuff, but it is not. We keep it alive around here, and I think that there's enough people buying this stuff to where they're continuing to invest in it, and it's continuing to grow. And so I'm excited. I think this is a great year for physical media. Like next month, I'm getting the Casper. I think it was the Steelbook. And I mean, there's so many on my pre-order. I stay having pre-orders in, so I couldn't tell you everything I've had pre-ordered right now.
Yeah, I don't want to reveal that list. As far as that, what are some favorite releases from the year so far? Because I would agree, it's been kind of a banner year. It's a really crazy time. I feel like every week we're getting something that everybody's shocked that they never thought would get a release, and yet here we are getting another one of those every 6 days. Yeah.
No, literally in my bank account's like, please stop. But one of mine for sure this year was the Nice Guys Second Sight box set that was released. Oh, there's my dogs.
we respect all animals on this channel.
Yes, Jenny loves to get in the camera. But no, the Nice Guys Second Sight set is one of my favorites. The coloring and like the artwork that they picked is incredible. I just got the Frailty box set from Lionsgate Limited, which Lionsgate Limited has been knocking it out of the park. So those are the top two that just came to my mind first. And, like you said, there's been so many that I could sit here and list off like 10 or 12, like the Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 from Screen Factory. So happy they got a 4K. So many.
It's a big deal. What are some things you don't love about the state of physical media in 2025? What are some improvements you'd love to see?
I have one. It's the prices. I think obviously you have a lot of collectors out there who are anxious to get their hands on these things. But my most recent thing is the Nightmare on Elm Street 4K set that's being released. And I mean, it's like, I saw $300 because the other one sold out on Amazon. And it's like, it's just the prices sometimes it's like, it hurts because, I feel like sometimes, they keep them going up and up. But that would be the only thing. And also my shelf space, as a personal grievance, my shelf space is just never enough. But honestly, like as far as negatives, I really don't have many, because like I said, I feel like a lot of boutique labels are putting in so much effort for these releases where I don't really have any complaints there. It's just sometimes the prices, I'm like it hurts my heart sometimes. But I think the positives are definitely outweighing the negatives for sure.
Are you staying up to date with much modern film, or are you mostly focusing on these older films that are coming out on disc?
I'm staying up to date with the mod. Are you talking about like newer releases that are coming out from theaters and stuff? Oh yeah, for sure. We're getting those. I'm trying to think of my most recent ones I've bought that were in theaters. But I will say I bought more older ones because they're getting upgrades to 4K and all these things. But like the A24 releases, I'm always trying to get the A24 releases. You can't really see it, but I have a whole A24. This whole shelf here is just all A24 movies. Nice. I think their physical releases are incredible, like the Heretic and the Sing Sing releases, like how they do it. I don't have it here, but what I'm talking about. They're like it's the cool like barcode label.
One within reach. Yeah,
I know you know what I'm talking about. I wish I could reach it and just have it right here and just.
My shelf is way up there in the corner, like yours.
But I think right now, I'm buying more older ones, but still trying to keep up to date with new ones.
What about going to theater? Are you going to the theater to see many modern movies, or mostly focus on the rep screenings?
No, every week I'm at the movie theater at least once, if not twice. I usually go every Tuesdays. But sometimes now that school's back, I'll go back to going on Tuesdays because, it's half off on Tuesdays. So usually in the summer, it's always packed. So I moved it to Wednesdays, but Tuesdays and Wednesdays are my movie days. I actually am probably going to go see a triple feature this weekend. I've been so excited for Weapons. That's one
Yeah.
I'm so excited for. So I'll be seeing that. But yeah, I'm always at the movie theater, so you can catch me there. But I do love like the Belcourt, like we were talking about. They're always showing older ones, so I also love getting to go there. It's nice being here in Nashville where there are so many options. I feel like I'm always doing something movie related. Like a few weeks ago, I went to see the Goonies with the Nashville Symphony playing live while the movie played, and it was like, I think every movie should be watched that way because I also love music and it was so cool to get to watch that live.
Yeah, we a few years ago we got to see Suspiria with Fabio Frizzi doing it live. Or
Man,
that is the wrong name. It is Claudio Simonetti and Goblin that did it, not Fabio Frizzi. That was the other one.
That's okay.
But,
I wouldn't have corrected you.
Goblin there playing with Suspiria live was a mind-blowing experience for sure in a theater.
I would love to see that in a theater, especially in that way. Man,
great time. Yeah,
I'm such a nerd when it comes to that kind of stuff.
He does that usually like every 2 or 3 years, and I think Nashville's always on that list, so you might want to pay attention. And that was almost 2 years ago, so pay attention.
Sweet. I've lived here since last October because I'm originally from Memphis, outside of Memphis, so I just have been here for almost a year now. So I will be on the lookout for that.
Well, speaking of you leaving places, happened to see that you did some stuff on some films down in Atlanta, too.
Yes. I got to work for Marvel in their content protection department in 2017 and 2018. I got to work on, like, in my opinion, the best Marvel movies. They got Black Panther, both the Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, and then Thor Ragnarok reshoots, which actually there's a really long story about what I did on the Thor Ragnarok reshoots. I actually worked in the paint department for that, so I got to paint some of the stuff. So that's a whole nother story and how I got into doing that. But yeah, it was so cool getting to be in that scene during that time, especially for a company like that, and get to see it all, take place on the sets and what goes into all the sets and stuff. It was very surreal. Got to meet awesome people, and yeah, a dream come true for sure.
Well, on the title, what does content protection do? Because, man, I immediately picture somebody smacking somebody's hand reaching for a script or security or something.
Yeah. So basically how we put it, it's, keeping Marvel's secrets secret. Because one thing about Marvel, they do not want things getting out there. Like Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo had my boss stressed. So yeah, we were in charge of kind of keeping the scripts, like you said, make sure none of the sensitive things on the set, like layouts of certain scenes were laying around. I was in charge of making sure everyone that came on the set signed NDAs. So that's how I got to meet a lot of actors' families. I remember one day I got to hang out with Angela Bassett's family and while, they were on set, and so things like that, and just really, keeping the secret. But, I always said I had kind of a low end on the totem pole job because I was just getting started. But to me, I had the coolest job because I got to be on the sets all day, every day, watching these incredible movies being made. And my boss just had me going from one set to the next, one movie to the next. So I'm not in any of the credits because if it's in order to be in the credits, you have to work on the movie for a certain amount of time. But because I was going in between, because they filmed Black Panther, Infinity War, and Endgame all in the same time. So I was just jumping around.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it was surreal. Fun times for sure.
How do you get started in that? That doesn't seem like something you just stumble into.
Actually, it's funny you say that. It kind of was. So I moved to Atlanta, graduated college, went to University of Alabama, graduated in December of 2016. I moved to Atlanta in that January because my professor had told me if you want to work anywhere in film, you want to be in Atlanta because that's where all the big budget blockbusters were being made. So I moved without a job. I got a waitressing job. Before I started my waitressing job, I had met this guy because one of my friend's parents had met his mom and they got to talking, and she said, my daughter's best friend's in Atlanta for film, and she said, well, my son's in the film industry working on Black Panther. They exchanged numbers. She gave me his number. I texted him, and so we just got for lunch, and he said, do you want to come meet one of my friends who's the security supervisor for Marvel? And I said, sure. And so then I met him, and I didn't realize it at the time, but it was technically an interview. He asked me to just come on the set, and he showed me around, and I guess I passed the interview because about 2 weeks later, I didn't hear anything. Then 2 weeks later, I get a call on a random Wednesday right before I was about to start my waitress job. He said, can you start work today? I said, yep. So I was on the Black Panther set that day. And from then on, the rest was history. It was crazy how it all worked out. So sometimes it is just randomly meeting the right people. And, I was such a yapper, so I was talking to and so that kind of helped me kind of get my feet in too, because I was just talking.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, to be fair, a lot of people nowadays don't love talking to people, and if you got that skill, that is a way to break in.
Yes, yeah. So it worked out. It worked out. So it was a very, very bizarre way to yeah, people ask me that all the time. How'd you get in? I'm like, yeah, well, it was very, very different.
It's super easy. Just have somebody know somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. And they had just met in passing too, and so it's just crazy. Like they didn't really know each other and then we didn't, it was wild, but.
Nice. On TikTok, there is obviously a huge number of a younger population, and obviously people are not immediately jumping to 18 to 23-year-olds when they think of physical media. So do you feel like there is a hope in a rising interest in the youth of 2025 in physical media?
I do. I really do. I've had some people message me or will comment, and they're in that age range, letting me know, like, I saw your videos and it's really inspired me to start collecting. And I actually got on TikTok because of the younger kids, because I was a tap teacher. And so they got me to download TikTok years ago, and finally started posting my movies this year. And even they started kind of getting into it a little bit. And,
Nice.
But yeah, I have some hope, because I think with the younger generation, and they are always on TikTok. And I feel like with more people posting about this kind of stuff, they can see like, oh, wow, that looks cool. Like, I want to get that, do that too. I want to get that, and also with the streaming services, because that's kind of all they know right now. They, weren't around with Blockbuster and everything was here. But with the streaming services constantly taking stuff off or raising their prices or censoring things and editing movies. And that was in my video that I talked about, where I talked about the physical media advocate, because I think it's important to get out the reasons why it can be, instead of just showing like, oh, look at this cool stuff. Here's, the reasons why it's also really important. And I think those, the younger people see that and, think, yeah, that's right. Cause I do, in my analytics, I do have a lot of younger people that see my stuff. I could see that, the 18 to 23 range, it is reaching them. So hopefully, but I am hopeful. I am. And that's my goal, is to just still keep it alive and inspire them as well, and show them that physical media is superior to streaming.
Something about that age range at the moment feels like they're reaching for more of the tangible. I did not have that hope for about 5 years ago, probably, for that generation, but I almost feel like, and this might be kind of morbid to think about, but kind of all of the crap that happened during COVID, I feel like scared a lot of people, going, oh, I could literally just lose a lot of this stuff because that happened so much more during the pandemic. And now it's, oh, well, my favorite movies, I probably should have them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I 100% agree. I think COVID kind of changed a lot of things. It's like you see like kind of the world before COVID and after COVID, and with that generation, I think maybe they are leaning more towards the tangibles. And I think even with more than just movies, I see a lot of music with like vinyls and things like that. They're getting more of that as well. So I think there definitely is a lot to be hopeful for with the younger people, but also with us older people. I'm a millennial, so I think the millennials are holding down the physical media as well, because we were right when Blockbuster started going out. We were in like high school or college, and so. But yeah, we gotta let the younger ones know what's up. I think we're doing a good job of that, though. So I'm hopeful.
For the record, all of the people in my chat section are typing furiously right now because a 29-year-old just said all of us old ones.
Well, technically, I'll be 30 in next month, so. No, we're also young. We are young. I consider myself still young.
You are extremely young, yeah, absolutely.
But teaching kids makes you feel, because I taught ages 5 to 18, and they made me feel like I was ancient. So
right. Well, and I mean, the reality is, for any hobby, and it's not just about physical media, and this is not talking up the importance of what you or I or anybody else that does this does necessarily, but any hobby or art form needs its ambassadors. And that's literally what you're doing, is approaching a segment that wouldn't have that and saying, look at all the benefits of this, listen. And even if 5% of those listen, you made an impact on a lot of those people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even just one person, like I'll never forget my first message of someone telling me they started their collection, and it was a younger person. I was so like, it was so neat. So that was
Nice.
like, I'll always remember that, like that first message, and it was cool.
Well, you mentioned vinyl. Any other things you collect? Because you've shown off a lot of like movie props and horror memorabilia. I mean, at this point, the yellow hoodie is like really synonymous with your channel. So
I know I had to wear it. That's why I wore it for this interview. I was like, you know what? That was the video. I remember I mentioned it. I said, I'm going to wear it and it was one of my dad's favorite movies was The Shining. And since he's passed, I like really love this movie. And so I love wearing this sweatshirt. But I do collect vinyls. I really try to get a lot of movie soundtracks. I don't have a huge vinyl collection compared to like actual vinyl collectors. I would say I have maybe 30 something, which is good for me because, I just actually got a pickup from Waxworks. I got 4 of their movie soundtracks. So nice. I have a couple bands, of albums I love, but I really am lean into the movie soundtracks. Shockingly, I know. But I do get those, but really just those. And then movies. I'm not like a huge reader. So not much in books, but I do like to get some vinyls every now and then as well.
Not a huge reader, but a magazine brought us together. I love that.
Hey, the irony is not lost on me, my friend.
Well, Courtney, this has been incredible. Everybody needs to go check out the link for your TikTok in the description below. I sincerely hope you get I don't know how much of my viewers are into TikTok, but I know that I follow you on there now, and I hope many more do. I'm considering making a small leap over there. There's a lot of things that I feel like some of this could play over there, so we'll see.
Oh, absolutely. You definitely should. I will be your first follower. I'll be happy to support. But yeah, I always love meeting new movie people, so I'll be always happy when new people find my page for sure.
Excellent.
And so glad our paths have crossed too.
Yeah, it was serendipitous to a point where I am shocked that it happened like that, but I appreciate it.
I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, I was so excited. And like I said, I've had them for almost a year now. And I was like, I talk about physical media. I need to post about this magazine. I don't know if anyone, and I was like, and so look how cool comes across your page. So but yeah, I love it so much. Like I said, I try to get it every month. So
appreciate that. We'll see you on the next one, hopefully, because I loved having you on. So thanks for coming on.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. It's been so fun. I really appreciate having me.
Thank you for listening to the Disconnected Podcast. There's one big thing that you could do to help the show, and that is to leave a rating and review on the podcast service of your choice. Thank you.
Do you love movies? So do I. What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies. Inviting you to listen to The Conversation, a film podcast where passion meets perspective and opinion. From the old school to the new, I invite a guest on to discuss the movies that thrill us, challenge us, break our hearts, or even blow our minds. There's always new episodes dropping wherever you get your podcasts. So join the conversation. We don't just watch movies. We love talking about them too. The Conversation with KB Loves Movies, a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description